this is bigger than Rotary. This is not something we can do as individual clubs. With the mayor is inviting business leaders, the CEOs of the hospitals, Georgia Power. There's a list of 140 business leaders that are being invited to and very much encouraged to a meeting at ASU, because the goal also was, as an offshoot of this program, is with the ASU Literacy Center, we would be able to look at not only is the book getting into the home, but what is happening in that home.
This is just something a lot of people always wonder, well, what exactly is literacy? Literacy is a person's ability to read, write, and speak and solve problems at levels necessary to function in today's society. These are just a few Georgia literacy facts. Approximately 61% of low-income children do not have a single suitable piece of reading material available in their homes. Parents are 4 times more likely to read aloud to their children when given free books. 1/3 of our children come to school unprepared to learn. And 75% of students who are poor readers in the third grade will remain poor readers throughout their high school career. And of course, all of you know Georgia always scores low on SATs. We have the nation's 3rd highest rate in high school dropouts. 1 in 4 adults in Georgia operates at a low literacy level. And high school non-completion in Georgia costs the state $18 billion per year in foregone income, and add the loss of state output, and that increases to $24.5 billion. The greatest barrier to economic development and growth for our community is the absence of a literate workforce. Of course, the key to building a capable workforce is to begin reading at birth. That means books in the home, parents who read frequently to their children, and the association of reading with fun and love. So it's really neat when a child comes up to you and they just crawl in your lap and you can read to them. Robin Ferst founded the program in '99. We mailed our first books in 2000. Of course, we are a 501c3 organization, and of course our goal is to be statewide. We'd said by 2010, and that's coming up fairly quickly for us. We're in over 65 counties right now, so unless something drastic happens, we're not going to quite make it to that 2010 goal, but we're hoping that it comes along fairly quickly. This is who we are. Ferst Foundation has Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, and we have what we call our Leap into Books component. Every book that we mail comes with a newsletter. That newsletter contains specific information for your community. That's what makes up Ferst Foundation. We kind of call ourselves Dolly Enhanced. We send a book a month, every month, to every child that's registered in the community. And of course, when I say community, that's what your county defines. You can be countywide, or you can just do a specific area to target with Ferst. You do not have to go countywide at first. They're colorful, age-appropriate hardback books. Let me show you a couple of them. I wanted to show you this one. This is my nephew's favorite book. He loves dinosaurs. And when he got this book in the mail, called me to tell me he had his dinosaur book. And of course, I just thought it was so neat because I had no idea he was going to get that particular title that month. But of course, I had to go over and he had to read it to me. So I enjoyed that, but he was just thrilled to get this title. This is actually how the books come. They are shrink wrapped, and on the inside is the newsletter addressed to the child at the child's home. This is how Ferst Foundation operates in Georgia. We have what we call community action teams. I know a lot of times people sometimes say, you're a cat coordinator. Oh my God, what do you do with cats? And I'm like, no, not cats, community action team. These are just recommended cat members to pull. If you know of individuals in these organizations, it's great to have them on board, but you've got local government elected officials, and here your mayor is behind you, so that's really good. So I can brag to other counties, because not everyone has that, so I think that's awesome. Your Chamber of Commerce, your business leaders, public and private schools, United Way, and the Postal Service is also great to have on hand, because they're the ones that actually are delivering the books. So have them on board. Let them know that you're appreciating everything that they do. Of course, your local library, Boys and Girls Club, DFACS Health Department, they're always great to have on your team. We recommend breaking your CAT out into 3 committees. PR, of course, you got to get the word out there. Because if you don't get the word out there, no one's going to know what you are, so they're less likely to give you money. Plus, the PR is responsible for the newsletter information, so whatever you've got going on locally, you can put that in the newsletter. Your fundraising, and one great thing about the newsletter, it's not only used for local information to get out there to the parents, but it's also a way to thank some of your donors. You can do their logos, their name, or whatever your community action team decides to do. And of course, registration, you register the children. If you have a targeted area like a daycare center, then that's not going to be hard. You don't have to have a huge registration committee. You know exactly where you're going, you get those kids and you're done. This is where it gets kind of, oh my gosh, kind of scary. Looking at the potential children under the age of 5, you have over 14,000 kids under the age of 5 in Richmond County. Typically we see, if you do countywide, most communities reach about 30% of their eligible population within the first year. Some communities, their goal is higher than that, so they may reach 40 or 50%. I even have one county that has just reached 60% at their first year, but they had a great team, they had fundraising in place, they've gotten the money in the bank, so they're okay. They haven't struggled with that. So they felt they could register more children, which is wonderful. I've got some communities that are like, you know, 15 is the absolute we can do right now. 15%, that's fine. I would rather you have registering some children in your community than none at all. So if we start small, then let's start small here. But 85% of the total families sampled reported reading with their child almost every day or more. And it also concluded that parents overwhelmingly report that the program is effective at increasing the time spent in reading with their children. Because if any of you have children or grandchildren, you know they can be a little persuasive. So if they've got a book in the mail, I've had people call me and to tell me, we couldn't even get out of the driveway. As soon as we got out of the mailbox, we had to open it. So I think that's kind of neat. The parents are getting involved more with their children. It's making their children more interested in books, and it's making the parents more comfortable reading with their children, and it's increasing the parent awareness of their children's reading level. There was a letter from the superintendent of Morgan County Schools, Dr. Standa Jarnett, that said that since their collaboration with Ferst Foundation, that they've seen their kindergarten readiness test scores increase from 46% ready to over 90% ready. And Jasper County sent in their information, and they found that students who participated in Ferst Foundation produced more consistent high post-test scores overall than any other early learning program. And that's including like their Head Start program. So they compared all those children versus those that are just in daycare. This is one of those that most people are sitting back, well, what can I do? Well, first of all, you can sponsor a child in your community at $36. That gives them a book a month every month for an entire year, so just $36. Most of you might spend that going out to eat or going out to lunch, depends on where you're going. Encourage others to give. It's $3 per month, sends a hardback book to a child registered in your community. And of course, spread the word. Let other people know what you're trying to do here in your community. So getting the word out there, more people know about it, they want to join, they want to give money, they want to help whatever way they can. So it's getting the word out there.
And I think the initial, for those first 100 children, they're going to be working with the Housing Authority. Kathy has given some great contacts, so for those first families that we're going to use. But this also brings out information about Ferst, because if I have a grandson, yes, I'm registering him in the Ferst program, but I'm going to pay for that because I'm not expecting somebody to pay that $36. So we're seeing people who are saying, let me bring this into my grandchildren's home. And then we're thinking too, as for parents who may be illiterate, have reading problems, well, they're sitting down with their child reading a book like The Little Engine That Could. So the parent's going to be learning it too. I just see this as a great economic development tool for our area. So we're real excited.